Hi, this is Making the Right Career Choice workshop. And this is our fourth workshop and it's choosing the correct path. This is what you're all here for. And this is your right career. We are a program of the Foundations of Brilliance Incorporated. And the whole program is called 31 Days to the Work You Love. Truly find the direction you want to go in creating your life and successfully pursue it with passion. And this is the time to do this. This is where we want to see that actually happening. All right, these are two guys that you all definitely know by now. I am L, which means left, and Bernard.
I am R means I am always right. I am Bernard Percy, who is always right, at least in this photo.
And we are two guys from
I'm
Brooklyn.
on your left, but I'm actually right as you look at it.
That's right. And we are the two guys from Brooklyn. All right, workshop series, week 4, choose your path. And our goal for today is that you decide on your education and or your career path. The objective, 2 things that we would like you to accomplish is to align your 3 key success factors. Those, and just to remind you, those are your talents, personality, and your statement of purpose. So we're going to be looking at aligning those so that you're able to then easily decide on the direction you want to go with your career or your education. And the second is obviously to determine that right career path. Our commitment, very important as we're getting close to the end of the workshops, is if you have any questions, you can always contact us.
Not the workshop, the whole program.
Yes, the whole program. Good. If you find that you are not quite satisfied, please let us know. We have consultants, we have coaches that can help you along the way and get you to that right career path. And remember, everything turns out right in the end. If it isn't right,
it isn't the end.
There you go. There's our trademark. All right, so I'm going to turn you over to Bernard. And we will.
So this next step, is really why people come to do the program. What they really want to find out is what is the direction to go in for my career or education path. And everything you've done up to this point, and if you've done it thoroughly, prepares you for finding the real answer to the question, what do you really want to do with your life? What's the right career or education path? Remember, you've probably seen this particular slide several times, and we all want to be at B, okay? And so we want you to know what your B is, that by the end of this particular workshop, you either know what your B is, or if you need some further help, contact us, please. But this is your B, your ideal, where you really want to be. Yes, I now know what will bring me a smile to my face. Big smiles. People have this question while they do the program. What do I really want to do? Should I become a doctor? Should I open my own business? Should I do what I just love to do? I mean, all kinds of advice people give you and all kinds of things to think about. And what we're going to do is help you decide for yourself today. This is the final step. So you know the direction to take. So yeah, I should be a doctor, or I want to be a teacher, or I should be somebody who helps create free spaces for people to enjoy themselves, or whatever the right answer is. And again, this is the diagram you've seen many times throughout our presentations. You have your talents, your personality, and your purposes. What you want to do is align the 3 of those things in the center area, where you have the talent, personality, and purposes for what it is that you want to do. So that you've been on a trail, whether you realize it or not. We put you on a trail. You started out with talents. And when you answer questions on talents, that leads us into looking at your personality. Lee puts down passions here, and I like that. It could be interests, it could be behavioral patterns, all kinds of things related to personality. But we have passions there because people say, go with your passions. And that's been wonderful. if you have the talent for it and the purpose for it. And that's what we're going to do in this step, is find out what that area that you have a real passion for that aligns to your personality. And then when you answer the questions of personality, it gave you clues to determine what is that real purpose I really want to do and what I really want to accomplish, the reason why I wanted to do what I want to do in terms of my career. And now when you have all three of those areas fully answered, now you're ready to decide what is the right path for you. And that's what we're going to do today, is go over the workshop for you to decide, okay, what really is the right path for me? I really want to know that. Really want to know that. Really, really want to know that. See, some people, there are three basic kinds of people who've done our program. One, people have no idea what their path should be. Here's where they find it out. Second person, well, I kind of know, but I'm not sure. And well, let me get sure. Well, here's where you get your certainty. And the third person is somebody, I really know what I want to do, but I just want to get more understanding about that path and what I'm doing and so on. And here's where you finalize that certainty. And what we want you to do is be at B. You know the right direction for your career and, of course, your education. We want you to be at B. Be at B. We want to be at B. Oh, yes, you'll be so happy when you're at B. So let's get you to be at B. So here's what we want you to do. Here's some things for you to think about. Now what? How do you choose the right career path or paths? Lee's been very strong, and I totally agree with him on emphasizing you could be doing several things. Why do one thing? I mean, I'm working on 3 or 4 different projects right now. Of course, Foundations of Brilliance being one of the main ones. But I'm also working on an internet marketing activity. I'm developing seminars for parents and relationships between husband and wife and so on. But they all align to my purposes, my talents, and my personality. So you may choose to go on several paths, which is fine. Or you may say, no, I just want to stick with one. Okay, what steps I need to get started in the right direction? Where do I start? Well, that's why we're doing what we're doing now. Doing these exercises fully and completely to your satisfaction is the necessary first step. How can I be sure it's the right direction? Because if it aligns truly with your talent, personality, and purposes, then you know it really is the right path for you to be taking. What if I change my mind? Fear of making a mistake. Great. If you want to change your mind, maybe it's not what I quite thought. But now you know how to evaluate what would be a better choice for me, what better aligns to my talents, personality, and purposes. Now you have a framework, a foundation with which to think, so you can make that right decision. Is my decision real or unreal? Well, you can decide that. I mean, I haven't made a decision, I told Lee about it, to become a member of the 2020 United States Olympic gymnastics team. Well, you saw my photo, and I can't touch my knees without bending my toes. But it's a little unreal for me to expect that I will be, on the Olympic gymnastics team in terms of my body's condition. But don't think small, don't think little, think big, and really understand your true talents, personality, and purposes, and use that to think as big as you want to be. And then you'll know it's real. I love this quote from Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. And he, in many ways, was definitely the greatest. You see, he didn't have what we call a yeah, but, a reason, a justification, or an excuse not to become the world champion, I think, 3 different times? And he confronted so many things in his life. And he definitely did not have yeah, buts when it came to his profession. He went after it. Even when he fought the notorious Sonny Liston, everybody thought he was going to be destroyed by Sonny Liston. But he had no yeah buts. He knew he could defeat him, and he did. So as you do the next series of exercises, please, no yeah buts. Well, I could do that, but I don't know if I'm good enough. Yeah, that's good, but I think I don't have enough experience. Oh, I could do it, but I'm getting too old. No. Don't have any yeah buts when you do this, because that's the death throw of having a successful, happy career. So here's your first exercise. And they're going to be several for you to do. So what I want you to do is get out a piece of paper and get out all your notes that you've had from your previous lessons and workshops, okay? Because you're going to have to refer to them. So make sure you do that and keep the screen up, but really pause the seminar or the workshop. So first, I'm going to give you 3 questions to answer first. Answer the following questions using your worksheets that you've done previously to help you. Your answers to the other workshops, the answers you gave in the lessons that you've done, and so on. 1, which of your talents are most valuable and important to use in your career choice? Now, we've gone over that when we did talents. I asked you to select the top talents that have the most value and importance to you. Refer to those, because those are a clue that what you want to do should align to those talents. What's the lifestyle that best aligns with your interests and passions? You know, when I was in college, I didn't know what to major in. And I didn't know about aligning talent, personality, and purposes. But I did know about personality. And I said, okay, what's the lifestyle I wanted to lead? And I decided I'm going to become a teacher. Why? Totally personality. 1, I wanted to get out of school at 3 o'clock. I liked having a long Easter and Christmas vacation, 2 months off in the summer. I love that lifestyle. And I didn't have to be a billionaire. I wanted to lead a comfortable life with a comfortable income. And, you know, and I like kids. I really like working with kids. And so talent and purpose had nothing to do with my decision. It was only personality. It was lifestyle. Now, for me, fortunately, I found that 1, I definitely had the talent and definitely had a purpose that aligned to being a teacher. So I really hit the jackpot when I decided to become an educator or a teacher. So what's the lifestyle that best aligns with your interests and passions? Do you want to make sure you have time for family, which is always very important to me? Okay. Do you want to have some free time, vacation time? Or do I really want to become a millionaire? I'm going to work real hard to become a millionaire, and I know I have to work many hours a day, et cetera, et cetera. How important is it that you work at something that answers the question, if not me, who? Remember, we went over talking about different levels of motivation. And one of the levels of motivation is, you know, it's really duty. And the answer to that question is, what can I do that I know is very special for me to do because they bring a certain set of talents and personality and even purposes to that particular thing. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the workshop, look at these 3 questions and answer them to the best of your ability, but answer them thoroughly. Do that now. Okay, welcome back. Here are your next 3 questions. Have your worksheets ready because you're going to need them and to refer to them. What are you willing to be, excuse me, let me give that again. Are you willing to be a risk taker, or are you more inclined to find a comfort zone or a combination of both? You know, some people are pioneers. They really want to go and they'll start a new business, they'll start a new activity. They're not afraid to explore and do things. Others go, no, that's not mine. I'll go to a business that's already started. I'll find a career where people are already doing it, and I'll work with them, but I'm not going to be the one who starts it. And some people may be a combination of both. So how willing are you to be the one who's a founder of a business? How willing are you to be one who really helps build a business, and so on? What kind of challenges most appeals to you? You know, when I became a teacher, one of the challenges I really wanted to succeed at overcoming was developing strong relationships with my students. The ability to develop a strong relationship is certainly some challenge that appeals to me. Then the ability and the willingness to inspire my students, to get them really motivated. There's a quote by George Bernard Shaw. He said, what we want to achieve is the child in pursuit of knowledge, not knowledge in pursuit of the child. That was a challenge I really loved, that really appealed to me. And I was always trying a way to get my students to pursue knowledge. I'm doing that now with you, doing this program. I want you to pursue the information you need to create the career path that's right for you. And what else is important to you to make a decision? I put down 5 things. What else do you have to consider and think about in order to make the right decision for what is your career path? So now, you know, pause the workshop, answer these questions, and then come back to it when you're ready. So we want you to choose a path to be. What is your true ideal career and education path for you? What is your be? Here's where you totally must decide, and this is a part of the program we've been working towards for these past many hours. Here's your first exercise to determine your be. 1, review what you have found out after completing part 1 of the program, talents, personality, and purposes, and any previous exercise. Really review and go over those. What would your life, then what I want you to think about, what would your life be like that aligns with your talents, personality, and purposes? What's the career that aligns with those? And write it as if it happened, not I will, but right I am. So for me, when I did if I were doing the program now when I was in college, okay, what is the career path that I want? Okay, what is best aligned to my talent, personality, and purposes? Okay, I want to work with children. Yes, that I know is important to me. I am working with children directly because I've placed great value and importance on that. I want a career where I can have time to really create in other areas and other directions. Being a teacher gives me that opportunity because I can get off of work at 3, even though there's more homework to check and other plans to write. But the actual having to be in school ends at 3. I can then choose to stay there and do more. Okay? I can have my Easter vacations, my Christmas vacations, my summer vacations to create in different areas. So I am doing that. I'm actively creating in different areas. Okay? I happen to love to inspire children. And so I'm inspiring children to pursue knowledge, to really help them want to be motivated to learn and so on. And so I would write that ideal, what I'm doing as if it's happening now. And I am taking my class on trips. I am learning how to become the best teacher that's possible. I am working with children of different backgrounds, intellectually gifted, and those who have problems in life. Those are the things I really value and wanted. That's part of my ideal scene. And obviously, these are all pointing to being a teacher. What about you, Lee? When you were, looking at making your decision,
Yeah,
what are your ideal scene?
it's very interesting because this part for me was where, I was always in athletics and sports, and that's the thing that I was always passionate about. But I really didn't have the top-notch ability to actually play at a professional level. And at that point, I didn't even know there were other things I could have done within the area of sports. So I basically left it. I mean, I was just basically a weekend, sportsaholic. But when after doing the program, I realized that I can still be involved in sports, and I had gotten involved in soccer and started to work at club level, started to work at coaching, started to work at instruction. Then I got involved in refereeing. And I'm an instructor in the refereeing area. I'm what's called an assigner, and I do a lot in that area, and I do derive quite a bit of money in it. It's not enough for a full-time income, but it's not bad, and it's something I absolutely love to do. And when you look at talents, my talents go along with it because from an engineering standpoint, you have to ask a lot of questions. You have a lot of problem solving. There's a lot of challenges. There's the whole instruction and educating, which I have those. The personality is someone, for me, I'm very, patient. I really do help people, and I know people learn at different levels. Not everyone is going to catch on to every concept exactly at the same moment. So my personality is one of patience, and I can work with people individually. I know the power of making sure they understand the terminology, because I'm a mathematics person, and I remember terminology was one of the biggest trip ups. Same thing with in engineering, a lot of terminology, and then in soccer, tremendous amount of terminology. So I have a lot of background in education and also in the patience and bringing about an understanding in the people I work with. My purpose is basically to help people, realize their, the light bulb moments. I call them defining moments, when somebody has their own aha moments. Not that I give it to them, but I help them along on that path. And again, I work with very young referees, soccer referees. A lot of them have had, definite aha moments, lots of them, and they're moving up. I have several that can become professional referees, soccer referees. Maybe possibly one even ends up being in the World Cup, possibly, never know. But anyway, that's where a lot of my passion and purpose is. And then also in this phase of the program, I realized that it was path, and it wasn't a laser beam. It wasn't like, this is exactly what you're going to do. Some people do find that, but for me, it was like a 5-lane highway. I know what direction I want, and I have people saying, hey, how about coming back to consulting? And I did it a little bit, but I'm not that interested in it. It doesn't completely align to, my 3 key success factors. So I have 5 different activities that I do, and I make money in each one of them. And that's what I got from putting it all together.
That's great, Lee. The other thing about Lee, you should know, if he's ever the referee in a soccer game that you're part of, he's very strong in his opinions and will not back down. He'll say, that's it, offside, or whatever the word is. And as a referee, you do have to have that strength and belief in your decisions. And Lee definitely has that strength in his belief and communicates that very well to others.
Yeah, the one thing. I'm sorry.
That's it. I said, I know that for sure.
Yeah, the one thing I always tell coaches that, they always ask about, because they see it their way and I see it my way. I always say, hey, there's only one person that's going to be right 100% of the time. And that's me. And, but I have a tremendous relationship with a lot of soccer coaches. And, there's also there is some arrogance from both sides, which I'm sure I've had it. I try not to. I'm very respectful. And again, it's a major challenge. I mean, even though I've done probably up to 2,000 games at this point, I still go out on a weekend, and I wouldn't say they're butterflies, but there's that anticipation of the game and the, blowing the first whistle. It's still invigorating to me. And that's when you have the right, you have your right career path. That's when you know.
That's greatly super.
Yep.
And number 3, ensure what you decide does truly align with the talents, personality, and purposes you determined previously doing the program and workshops. And Lee, as part of his personality, is definitely having to be very strong in his belief and his convictions and communicating that. If he didn't have that, he would not be successful as a referee. With me working with students, I was always willing to admire my students and always looking for what's good and right about them. That's part of my personality. And that's part of my strength that really helped me be successful at being a teacher or working with people. So how well do you understand these 3 things about yourself? So turn off the, let's go to the next slide first. Let me just see something. Right, let me just continue reviewing these points, okay? So focus on the lifestyle you want based on your personality as it aligns with your talents and purposes. And we spoke about that already. It's a really good clue that you have to think about. What are the products or results of your activity that you would like to achieve? My product that I really wanted, which aligns to my purpose, is to have inspired students who are really pursuing knowledge. When that happened, I was the happiest person on planet Earth because I was fulfilling my purpose. So what are those products? What are the results that you want to achieve from your activity? Okay, and that aligns to the reason for which something exists, of which it is done or made, your purposes. Next, what would you want to be that aligns with the role you would like to play? Okay, I like to play being a mentor, to being a guide, to be somebody who can advise people. Well, that's what a good teacher does. You help guide your students, you help mentor them, and so on. This program is all about the same thing, helping to guide and mentor people so they have the realizations for themselves. You see, I'm not going to be the one to tell people this is what you must do or should do. That's not what I believe. It's not part of my personality. I want you to decide for yourself. And what we're doing now helps you to decide for yourself. And remember, do not limit yourself with any yeah, but, or yeah, buts. Okay? Obviously, I'm not going to become an Olympic gymnast at this stage of my body's evolution. But maybe I could become a coach if I really wanted to do that. I can work in different capacities, with the Olympic team if I choose to do that. So, but don't limit yourself to the, yeah, but well, maybe I can't do it because I'm too old, don't have the experience or whatever. No, take a look at your ideal scene, the ideal, what you really, really want to accomplish.
Yeah,
Don't really.
this is the time, I mean, in delivering the program and in training sessions to multiple people in workshops and individually, what happens here is very interesting. Somebody will, they have their foundation, they have those three pillars, and they're solid, and they basically come up with a career path or an education path. And immediately when they see it, all of a sudden those doubts and yeah buts can creep in. And that's what you need. That's why, we've gone over this many times. That's why Bernard is bringing it up again, because you may write down something like, I'd like to be an artist. Okay. Or I'd like to go back to school and I'd like to become a doctor, or I'd like to become a business owner and develop software, or, like the Googles or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, but how much work is that going to be? And do I really have the experience? And do I have this? And the negativity will come in sometimes. And you know what? That's a sure sign that you're on the right track sometimes. Because if I said your goal in life was to walk through the door, that wherever you're watching this, to walk through the doorway, there's not a lot of obstacles to walk through the doorway. Okay? It's not that big a goal to sit there and go, my goal is to walk through the doorway. But when you put a big goal in front of you, a big goal in front of you, and if that has to do with your career, you may find that those things creep in, those barriers. And all, like Bernard had mentioned previously, it's what of the barriers do you want to confront? What are the barriers that you want to? What was the terminology you used, Bernard?
Terminology for
when you have the barriers there, that the challenges that are welcome.
Yeah, it's more of thinking about the challenges rather than looking at the problems or the barriers.
Exactly.
The challenges that are the right challenges for you.
No matter what you do, you're going to have challenges. Okay, that's how things get done. You don't start building something and it's like everything is just automatically goes up. There's challenges as you're constructing something. It's the same thing in a soccer match, the same thing when we're doing consultations. There are barriers, there are challenges that come up. The question is as you come up with your goals, as you come up with this career path, write down the challenges. What are the challenges? And then look at them and go, yeah, I mean, those are challenges I want to overcome. I'm very willing to actually experience these challenges.
Greatly. There's another way to look at this too. When I was in the Ukraine and I was working with a group of people, this woman came up to me kind of apologetic. She said, I'm doing this, but I realized what I really want to do is I just want to be a parent. And she was kind of justifying or feeling not great about that decision to be a parent. Well, give me a break. It's one of the most important things you could do. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying you have to become this great world-renowned individual. What is it that you really, truly want to do that aligns to what you want to do? And she was afraid other people will look down on her because she just wanted to be a mom. Wow. I certainly was strong in my viewpoint. I said, are you kidding me? It's one of the most important jobs you can do.
Sure.
That's what's real for you. That's what you evaluate. If you want to just become a street sweeper, you want to clean the streets of the city to help create a cleaner, neater environment. If that's truly what you want to do, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to be. So, don't be ashamed of your decision if it's the right decision for you. Okay? You have to decide for yourself what's going to bring you the happiness and satisfaction that you want from a career path. And remember, it's always about how you want to help and make a difference in the lives of others. That really has been the one thing I found in all the people I've worked with. How do you want to help? Okay, Lee, on to the next one. Now, another thing to consider is what are the barriers and difficulties you need to overcome? Do these seem like stops or challenges you are eager to overcome? And we just covered that. What's your viewpoint about them? Okay, are they? And if you take the viewpoint, it's a challenge. I really want to do this. I really want to achieve this. It's a challenge. and which direction will result in a true sense of personal satisfaction and accomplishment when you succeed in that area. Being a mom was really the area this woman in the Ukraine wanted to succeed at. That is really the area. So what we'd like you to do now, if you have to review these exercises, go back and look at what we want you to do. But now is your time. I want you to take a sheet of paper, and I want you to write what your life is like in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever time frame you want to look at. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're creating? What are the products you're developing? What's your lifestyle like? And write it down as if it's happening now. Not I will be, but I am. I am writing that novel I've always wanted to write. I am raising my 3 children, and I love being the mom, and I love wanting 5 children. Whatever you write down, it's your ideal scene. This is what your life is like, the lifestyle, the activities. And from what you're writing down, if you haven't already got it, it will give you a good idea. What is that career path that you want to follow that best aligns to your ideal scene, aligns best to your talent, personality, and purposes? So I want you to pause the program now and take as much time as you need, because this is where you really decide with real certainty, this is my direction. You know, one example, and we mentioned his name, but he's such a great example. We had Daniel Patrick, and when he did the program, he knew a lot about his talents and personality. And he knew he loved to create things. He loved fashion, loved design, and so on. But he loved sports as well, and he became a professional rugby player. But when he understood his real statement of purpose, what he's really trying to do, he said, I don't want to be a rugby player, I want to be a fashion designer. Because he aligned all 3 points, and he's usually successful. And I can point out so many other people the same thing, but you know Daniel from previous activities that we've done. So take some time, as long as you need, and decide what is that path that's the right path for you to follow. And if you have any problems, please contact us. How can we help you? But let's see what you can come up with. What is that right career or education path for you? Well, how did that go? Okay. I hope you found it. And if you've done everything thoroughly the way we requested, I'm pretty sure you have a real good idea, if not a certain idea, but what it is you truly want to do for your career. You know, Mark Twain had this great thing. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bow lines, like what holds a ship to the dock and so on. So throw off the bow lines. Sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. And when you want to choose the right career, you're going to explore, dream, and discover without being tied down to that dock, free to do those things. Now, here's the last exercise we want you to do. Okay, now that you have that direction or path that you want to take in life, we want you to get started now. All right, I'll start next week. No, it's important you get going right now. So what actions do you need to do to start moving in the direction of your career or education path? Is there more knowledge you have to get? Good. Where do you get that knowledge? I worked with one young man in Australia who wanted to be an engineer, but he knew he liked the whole concept of being an engineer aligned to his talent and personality and purpose. But he wasn't sure what kind of an engineer. Oh, okay. So I told him he had to do some research. You know, Lee could talk more about the different types of engineering. But one of his action plan steps was, okay, go and find the right engineering path I want to take. That was his first step. With Daniel, the guy who built a beautifully successful business in fashion design, all right, he started creating designs and fashions. He started doing more research on how to run a store. And he really built up a whole level of knowledge before he started opening up his own store. Now he has stores across, in the U.S., in different parts of the world, and he's being sold all over the world. Okay, so determine what knowledge you need to pursue your path and get that knowledge. What kind of an engineer should I be? Okay, I'm not sure I know enough about business and I want to open up a successful business that really sells sporting equipment. Good. What's the studies you have to do? Okay. And what can you do right now to start creating in that area? Start working on volunteering, do an internship. Get involved in that area that you know you want to create your career in. Do it now, whatever level you can. Maybe it's 2 hours a week. Maybe you can afford more time. But actually get started creating in that area now and start developing your understanding and certainty. And finally, what do you have to change to get moving on that path? You know, one of my favorite quotes was somebody who did the program. She wrote me a few years after doing it. She said, "You didn't make it easier." She thanked me for helping change her life. "You didn't make it easier. In fact, you made it more difficult, but much more interesting." So I'm not saying your life is going to be easy, but it's going to be more interesting when you're following that right career that aligns your talent, your personality, and your purposes. Lee, do you want to say anything else to close this section?
Well, it's kind of funny because we actually had gone through this ourselves. We were, our program was all individual consultations, private, confidential. There were seminars we did. We would do some workshops where multiple people would work together and we would guide them. But this whole electronic world of going in and doing webinars and videos and putting together a course online, it was exactly this. I mean, we had the goal, but we had a lot of barriers. I mean, there's a lot of educational steps. We had to also find the right person and people to basically help us from from their expertise in marketing and all of the internet, concepts of it and all of the social media. So we had to find the right person. So all of those things we avoided for quite a while until this past year when we went, okay, this is the time to do it. And we had to go through exactly this. We had to get educated. We were motivated. We wanted to do it. We wanted to help more people. People have been asking us for years to make it available online. From people from remote locations, places that we weren't really visiting. So we basically had enough people that wanted it and enough interest that we had to gain the knowledge, gain the experience, and we started doing radio broadcasts, and we've have thousands of people who have listened to our radio and videos. So those are the things that we had to overcome, and it's been very exciting. At least from where I am, it's exciting. Bernard, you?
Yeah, there's a quote. I think I'm going to get this right, but I like it even if I'm not getting it right. Somebody said, I'm not sure who to attribute it to. He says, "If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." Okay. But I want they think you can. I used to tell my daughters, not everybody listening to this may be able to say what I'm going to say. But if they come to me, "Dad, I can't do it, I'm having trouble," I look at them and say, "You're an American, not an American." If you're a Mexican, you can say you're a Mexican, not a Mexican. If you're Canadian, you're a Canadian, not a Canadian. It is that reality, that point of view that Lee is talking about that's so important. It's your attitude about your career path. And there will be difficulties and there'll be challenges. But part of the fun is overcoming those challenges and those barriers to achieve the product that you want.
All right, well, that brings us to the conclusion of this workshop. So what's next? Well, multiple things. First, if you have any questions, we have a questionnaire that you can click on below. And on anything at this point, any of the workshops, anything in the program, if you have any questions, this is the time to do it. In a couple of days, we will get together again, and we will have a question and answer session to answer any questions with regard to the entire program. Other than that, if you do have any kind of success story, we love to hear about your journey. We love to be able to share it with others. If you're having success, share the success. That's what life's all about. Bernard, anything on closing?
No, I just want to reiterate, everything turns out right in the end. If you don't think it's right, you haven't got the right thing, then it is at the end. And our commitment to you is help you go to the end. And we really want to do that, okay? And that's why we gave you that 31-day money-back guarantee, because we're confident we can help you get the product that you want, okay? So please, if there's any difficulty or any question you have, do get in touch with us. That's why we're here. That's part of our commitment to you.
All right. So we'll see you in a couple of days.
Send in those questions. Okay, take care. Very good, Lee. Good.